Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rants, Tommy Chrysan, TK over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on this rainy Friday morning. I'm at an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And, of course, LeBear's Casino is our presenting sponsor. LeBear's Casino. Stop on by there this weekend, especially with the weather the way it is. Like right now, it's always good to go inside. You go in a casino, you don't know if it's sunny, you don't know if it's rainy, you don't know if it's day, you don't know if it's night. But you always have a good time. And, of course, the Edge Lounge will be rocking tonight on a Friday. Live music, 10 o'clock. Stop on by there. And, of course, 18 Steak, the best place to eat for all your special occasions. Great steakhouse inside LeBear's Baton Rouge. Okay, so today on the show, we'll talk LSU baseball. The Tigers with a gigantic series starts tonight against Texas A&M, number one team in the country. They've got one of the best pitchers in America that's going to be going tonight, Prager, who's 8-0, ERA under 3, just dominant. It looks Skeens like numbers, right? And he's Gage jumps. So a battle of two lefties. Two really good lefties. Gage jumps is pitching as well as anybody the last couple of weeks in the league. So Prager jump should be take the under. It would be my suggestion on the over-under tonight. Don't know what it is, but take the under. Holman and Lampkin tomorrow. Holman's numbers look really good. 6 wins. He's got a 2.63 ERA, which is right around Prager's ERA. He's got 88 punch-outs and 61 2/3, but we know it's a little bit of fool's gold. We know that a lot of that came early on in the season. A lot of those numbers came non-conference where he just absolutely murdered the competition. He's been much more pedestrian in conference, but he's also better at home than he is on the road. So he is at home on Saturday, which is so that we'll see if we get the best of him. He'll go against Lampkin, another lefty who is 2 wins and an ERA 4.5, but another strike thrower as well. So great matchups, first 2 games, and then Sunday we'll figure it out. Sunday, Lynn and I will be on the broadcast, so we'll have TBD versus TBD on the mound on Sunday. But tonight, looking forward to A&M. LSU has to find a way, Tommy, to win one this weekend. If they don't, then you pretty much can pack up postseason as far as regionals are concerned, not the SEC tournament. And you're going to have to go on a miracle run in Hoover and win the thing and all that, which is very unlikely. So got to get a win this weekend. If you get 2, now all of a sudden, like you've turned your season around. Like you've won 3 series in a row. You just beat the number one team in the country at home. Like now it's a completely different feel for the rest of the SEC and the rest of the season. There's like hope. There's like, you know what? Maybe we can be Ole Miss from 2 years ago and all that. If you don't win a game this weekend, then get your Rougarou season tickets. First game's May 30th.
Well, Ronnie, first thing, Paul Skeens is about 2 weeks away from being called up. I read some reports on that. His numbers in AAA are just it's silly. It's video game numbers. Back to LSU. Ronnie, the last couple of weeks we talked about got to sweep Missouri, got to sweep Auburn. They won the series but didn't sweep. Okay, number one A&M, guess what? We can sing the same song. They got to sweep A&M. Now, I know that's asking for the moon, okay? They got to sweep A&M to really send a message, to really say, we can turn the corner. Because if you do it against A&M, then everybody's going to notice. Nobody's noticed when they played Auburn, okay? It was, they didn't even send announcements. They did the pass-through from the radio call. So this is really big, one game at a time, all those cliches. But A&M's 39-6. 39-6. Let that sink in. They have not lost a non-conference game. Only 6 losses are in conference play. So, I mean, and they're throwing 2 lefties to strike out a lot of people. LSU at the plate tends to strike out. That might not be a winning combination for the Tigers, but you know what? It's baseball. We all know it's baseball. LSU can win the game tonight. Will they? I don't think, but they can. It's not like a given, like LSU playing Grambling the other night, winning 26-2. It's not that thing. But anyway, I'm curious to see how it's going to unfold.
Tommy, if it was nighttime, I think maybe you were drinking by saying that you have to, you got to sweep A&M. That's not happening. They wouldn't sweep A&M if all of a sudden, Dylan Cruz jumped in this lineup.
So you're saying I got a better chance of picking the Derby tomorrow than LSU sweeping?
Yes, but listen, Can they win 2 out of 3? Sure. Jump and Holman at home, or TBD wins on Sunday when it's high scoring or whatever. But Griffin Herring, and throws great on Sunday or something. But just win one. Just figure out a way to win one. But if you win 2, to me, like sweep, stop. Sweep's not happening. But two, if that happens, then all of a sudden, Tommy, you have a mulligan at Alabama. You don't have to go to Alabama and win 2 out of 3. You can just win 1 at Alabama on the road. And then you come back home and you win 2 against Ole Miss at home. Like that's super realistic. If you only win 1 this weekend against A&M, then LSU has to win the series at Alabama and win the series against Ole Miss. If you put yourself in a situation where you have to sweep in that final weekend to get the 13 wins, which gets you in a regional, that's just too much pressure. I mean, Ole Miss ain't that bad, and so I think you got to go with what's realistic. And what's realistic is take 1, win 2 next week, win 2 realistic. But if you win 2 this week, the whole world takes notice in the conference. Everybody goes, "Whoo, LSU's turned the corner. They flipped the script. They're playing well. They're a team to reckon with." And then now that team's going to have so much confidence the rest of the way. Excuse me. That anything's possible.
Well, it's baseball. I said that a few minutes ago, and you and I know that as well as anybody who's watching Sports Shorts Daily today. It's baseball. They got to get you out 27 times. And, if you can get the timely hitting, we go all through Coach Bertman's cliches. If all of that can happen, you worry about Friday night. You win. You try to find a way to win the game tonight. I don't care if it's 1 nut or 12-11. Find a way to win, turn the page, and get ready for tomorrow night. But, this is the number 1 team in the country.
Did you see? Yeah, no, they're the real deal. Looking forward to seeing Nolan Kane. Going to visit with him, former LSU player, assistant, friend of mine. I hadn't talked to him in a number of months, but him and Kristen Kane, great people, and Nolan's doing a great job over at A&M, and so looking forward to seeing him. And then Schlossnagel, kind of known him a little bit, going back to his days at Tulane. He was assistant at Tulane.
Pitching coach at Tulane.
Yeah, I remember him when I was coaching the Baton Rouge White Sox back in the day, and I can picture him. I remember having a conversation with him. He came to Hammond High to watch the White Sox play Bill Hood in a doubleheader, and they had a lot of good players. We had a couple of good players, and he was Tulane, and he had his son or daughter, who's obviously a grown up now, in a stroller or like a little baby carriage type thing, and was like pushing him and watching the game. And I remember having a conversation with him and his wife or something. Just some things you just don't forget. But anyway, they have a great program. They're doing good things, and it's going to be quite the challenge. Did you see, Tommy, just terrible news? The Walker High School baseball coach got arrested for stealing funds. So what he did was he basically turned in bogus invoices to the school to be reimbursed for equipment that he bought for the program, and it was fake invoices, and a total of around $29,000. So this guy embarrassed his family, threw away his career, to steal money from a high school baseball program. Like, bro, that's so terrible. And for somebody who's close to Red Zone fundraising and all the guys that do such a good job with that, working with schools all over the state of Louisiana, and Craig Lamont, the owner of Red Zone Fundraising, who's one of the best human beings I know, nothing will get you fired faster than stealing money, misappropriating funds and stealing money at a school when you're a coach, or messing with, students, when you shouldn't be. Those are the two things. It's one of those two. If anybody gets fired or they just disappear, it's one of those two things. They misappropriated funds or they mess with a student. And I hate to see that, because families and schools, they work so hard for their monies and funds and all that. And to see somebody do that sort of thing, it's terrible.
Yeah, that was an awful story, and bad choice. Obviously, he made a choice to do that. Hopefully, he knew it was wrong when we first did it, And then, I mean, the way that stuff goes, he did it. All of a sudden, he got a little bit of money and nobody noticed. Well, then he got greedy. He did it again, And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's very unfortunate. But like you said, Ronnie, and this is the most part about this, so many parents who work in the concession stand or, do the little things or run around selling red zone fundraising cards and the players and, that break the field. I mean, all those people get affected by this. And those are the people just trying to, chase a dream to play the greatest game in the world, which is baseball. And it's just unfortunate that happened. Like you said, he threw away his career. Don't forget Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Got everything you need. Crawfish for the weekend, boiled crawfish, live crawfish. Mother's Day is right around the corner. Tremonti's can take care of you for all your Mother's Day needs. Live crawfish, boiled crawfish, Chairman's Reserve meats. They got steaks and seafood. Tremonti's got everything. You want to start planning this Mother's Day event in a hurry, Tremonti's can get you ready. Like I said, for everything you need to drink, eat, make Mother's Day a special day, as it should be. Mother's Day should be every day of the year, but make it a special day, and Tremonti's can help you do that.
This weekend, the first weekend in May, is a tradition. Two things. One, Formula One race over in Miami. There'll be 200,000 plus people a day over there Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the races around Miami Dolphin Stadium. You should watch that on TV. It's incredible what they do. But the first Sunday and the first Saturday in May is always the Kentucky Derby. And it's one of those things like the Indy 500, which is always on, Memorial Day weekend. It's one of those traditions in sports. Unfortunately, with all the options and all the coverage and streaming and everything that's out there, it's lost its luster a little bit. It's not the stop everything moment that it used to be. I mean, it used to be that you watched those 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like no matter what you were doing. Granted, there in Louisville, Kentucky, it's a giant event, and hundreds of thousands of people, and there's parties all week, and it's a giant event, and people. I know people that are having Kentucky Derby parties, and it's still a thing. But Tommy, am I wrong? I feel like it's not as big as it was 20 years ago.
It's not as big because there's so many other things and other options, and the internet and everything streaming probably hurts the Kentucky Derby because 20 years ago and certainly before that, man, that Saturday you were glued to the TV.
ABC.
And I grew up in New Orleans, the fairgrounds, where the Rolling Stones played yesterday, by the way, at Jazz Fest.
Did you get a scouting report on how they were? Anybody? Did you hear anything?
I know a lot of people that went. I haven't seen any posts or anything, but
80 years old. Mick Jagger's 80 years old. I can't imagine going and watching
Ronnie,
a rock and roll concert with an 80-year-old guy.
Wait, Ronnie, you ready for this? Have you ever seen the Stones?
Never.
Okay. Jagger never stops. Okay. It's been estimated, and this came out yesterday, that when he does a concert, he runs the equivalent of 12 miles in the hour and 45-minute concert. With if people have seen, I've seen him 7 times. People have seen him know it's like, and he's 80. Okay. But so anyway, I grew up in New Orleans, the fairgrounds, the Louisiana Derby, and then it led to the Kentucky Derby. And when I lived in Covington, there was a lot of horse farms in Folsom. Ronnie Lamar, risen star, who won 2 legs of the Triple Crown, was stood in Folsom. They call it. He stood there, and I believe he retired there. But I was around a horse racing a little bit. Not a horse racing guy. Chad Sexton, the former Raging Cajun baseball player, good friend of mine, Holy Cross graduate. He's the guy. And he's big into the horse racing like we're into baseball. But it is a spectacular event. Some people always have it on the calendar. I'll be at a Kentucky Derby party at the Ice House in Gulf Shores, Alabama tomorrow. So that's where I'll be. I got the winner for folks. You can go to the sports book at LeBear's. Catching Freedom. Odds this morning, 8-1. That's good value. On a horse race. Put up $100, put it on the nose to win, you're going to win $800. So 8-1. Catching Freedom, coming from the 4th post position. The post time is 5:57 Central Time tomorrow evening.
Catching Freedom. All right. Well,
so Ryan, you got to put a 10 spot on that.
Yeah, I mean, I will. I'll throw it on there. I'll cuss you after he loses.
But when he wins, you see, I'll be smart for the day. I'll be out at the Rougarou golf tournament being smart if he wins.
That's right. That's right. Catching freedom. All right, there you go. TK gave you the win.
Write that down. Write that down on your notes. Catching freedom.
Do we know how many horses are running this year?
There's 20 horses running. It's supposed to rain during the day at Churchill Downs, okay? And they're saying it's going to be enough rain. It might have a little effect on the track, although it's not supposed to rain at post time, which is basically 6 p.m. Central Time.
All right, we will be on the air for Sports Church Radio tomorrow morning, 10 to noon. We'll be over at La Berge tomorrow. So stop by and no, we'll be at Calandro's. That's right.
On government. Calandro's on government.
Yeah, across from Woodhaven. So we'll see Joel tomorrow. Major League Baseball. I can't think about going to a Major League Baseball game till at least August because just too busy with Rougarou and Hall of Fame. But the Cubs are, right there, game out of first behind Milwaukee, 19-13. Look, to me, college football is better when Notre Dame's winning. College basketball is better when the Blue Bloods, the Dukes, and the Kentuckys and the Kansas are winning. And Major League Baseball is better when the Cubs are winning. And it makes Wrigley Field more fun. It makes that market, one of the second biggest market or third biggest market in the country, relevant. And I have not ever been to a game at Wrigley Field. I know that's shocking for people.
Ronnie, nor have I. Let's make a plan to make that happen. If not this season, next season. Because then we can mix in some golf.
I'm down with looking at something and maybe later, and maybe August or September, Tommy. I'm not even lying because, Whistling Straits and all that's not too far away. Over in Wisconsin, there's some unbelievable golf courses. So definitely something we can look at. But the Cubs being good. I mean, look, that's my childhood team, man. 1984, started pulling for the Cubs, and I don't know them like I used to. I mean, I probably had about a 20-year run with the Cubs where I was like, really all in and kept up and, mattered and everything. And then after Bart dropped the foul ball, ever since then, it's kind of been, not really the same. Even when they won the World Series 10 years ago, I wasn't like in with the Cubs like I was in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s as far as following and watching a lot of games and all that. So I'm going to jump back on the Cubs bandwagon, and I think I deserve to since I used to be a Ryan Sandberg fan, Rick Sutcliffe. And since I know the whole lineup from '84, I'm allowed back on the bandwagon.
Well, here's the other thing, too. They got Craig Counsell as manager now. He had a lot of success with the Brewers, and he's part of the reason the Cubs have turned it around. Manager, like Bruce Bochy did with the Rangers in Texas, a manager can make a difference, in more than those 4 or 5 games when they make a great decision. But, the Cubs are the Cubs because of the Superstation. When I was a kid, it was Cubs and Braves because you could watch their games.
Right.
Braves out of Atlanta, So, yeah, but I've always was more of a Braves than a Cubs. And then, of course, now it's, across the board. I just like good baseball. But, no, it's good. You're right. When the Cubs are winning, Major League Baseball's got a little bit more glitter on it.
By the way, Aaron Nola is on fire. Other than that first start that he had at the beginning of the year, which was disastrous, the second and third game of the year. Ever since then, he's been excellent.
Oh, he's been good. He's won 3 straight. When his breaking ball's working, I mean, he can really, really wheel and deal. He's been working 6-7 innings every time. So Aaron Nola's been doing it really. Wade Miley done for the year. We got the going to have Tommy John surgery.
That might be it. That might be it.
Age 38. Yeah. So anyway, and Alex Bregman's struggling a little bit. The Astros, a lot of injuries on the pitching staff. They're struggling. But Orioles and Yankees are going to battle it out in the East. Orioles are the up-and-coming team. The average age to Orioles, the youngest in the league, yet they're one of the best teams. And I watched some of their game the other day. And, Ben McDonald called a lot of those games for the sports network up there. So I've been paying attention to the MLB, among all the other things. I'm always going to take a peek at the MLB.
We will be back on the air, remember, tomorrow morning, 10 to noon on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, myself, Hunter McCann, and Tommy Christian over at Calandro's Supermarket. Lastly, don't forget this Monday, good show for you we have coming up on Monday. Tommy will be live at Greystone Golf and Country Club in Denham Springs, the home of the Baton Rouge Rougarou Celebrity Golf Classic, a sold-out event. So it's going to be a giant crowd over there. We appreciate all of our sponsors and supporters and Bayou Apparel, presenting sponsor of this event, but also our sponsors are with us all year. That's Raising Cane's and Gordon McKernan and Relief Windows and all the guys. Southeast Regional Medical Center, all the gang that support us, and we really appreciate them. That will be this Monday. A lot of celebs. So TK will have a few special guests for you. That'll be this Monday, 9:00, live from Greystone.
Hey, and the season opens May 30th. Go to brrougarou.com, brrougarou.com. Get your tickets, get your merchandise, some great new hats, some truckers hats at brrougarou.com. As always, we ask you to like and share this show. That helps out everybody. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, get you ready for Mother's Day. Anything you need this weekend, stop by on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Have a good evening, everybody.